ask you something. Have you ever wondered if what you're feeling is normal, or if it's something you should actually be concerned about? Because when it comes to menopause, that line can feel very blurry. Some symptoms are expected, but others, they might be your body trying to tell you something more serious. And here's the problem. Many women ignore these signs, not because they don't care, but because they assume it's just menopause. And while menopause does bring changes, not everything should be brushed off that easily. So in this video, we're going to talk about the warning signs you should never ignore, and when it's the right time to see a doctor. Not to scare you, but to give you clarity, confidence, and control over your health. Let's start with something very important: heavy or unusual bleeding. Now, during menopause or perimenopause, your cycle can become irregular. That part is normal. But if you notice extremely heavy bleeding that lasts longer than usual, or bleeding after your periods have already stopped, that is not something to ignore. Your body is not supposed to behave that way long term, and in some cases, it can be a sign of underlying issues that need medical attention. So if something feels different than usual, trust that feeling. Now let's talk about severe or frequent hot flashes. You might be thinking, wait, aren't hot flashes normal? Yes, they are. But here's the difference. If your hot flashes are so intense that they disrupt your daily life, affect your sleep every night, or make it difficult to function, that's when it's time to talk to a doctor.
Because you don't have to suffer through it. There are ways to manage these symptoms, and you deserve support. Next, persistent sleep problems. Now, we already talked about how sleep can be affected during menopause, but if you're constantly waking up, feeling exhausted every single day, or struggling to fall asleep night after night, that's not something to normalize. Sleep is not a luxury. It's a necessity. And long-term sleep issues can affect your mental and physical health more than you realize. So if your sleep is consistently poor, it's worth getting professional advice. Now here's something that often gets overlooked: mood changes that feel extreme. Feeling a little emotional or having occasional mood swings can be part of menopause. But if you're experiencing deep sadness, constant anxiety, or feeling like you're losing control of your emotions, that's different. And more importantly, you don't have to deal with that alone. Mental health is just as important as physical health. And getting help is not a weakness. It's a smart decision. Let's talk about another important sign: unexplained weight loss or weight gain. Now, yes, weight gain is common during menopause. But sudden or extreme changes in your weight, without any clear reason, can sometimes point to other health concerns. Your body usually gives signals when something is off, and this is one of them. So instead of ignoring it, pay attention and take action when needed. Now here's a symptom that many people dismiss: chest discomfort or unusual pain. This is very important. Menopause can increase certain health risks over time. So if you ever feel chest pain, pressure, or discomfort that doesn't feel normal, don't wait. This is not something to guess about. It's something to check immediately. Let's move to something else that can be confusing: brain fog and memory issues. Yes, we've talked about this before. It's common. But here's the key difference. If your memory problems feel severe, if you're forgetting things frequently, or if it's getting worse over time, then it's worth discussing with a doctor. Because while mild forgetfulness can be normal, significant cognitive changes should not be ignored. Now let's talk about fatigue. Feeling tired during menopause is common, but constant, overwhelming fatigue, the kind that doesn't go away even after rest, is something different. If you feel drained every single day with no improvement, your body might be asking for help. And that's when professional guidance becomes important.
Here's something I want you to remember. Your body speaks, but not in words. It speaks through symptoms. And when those symptoms become intense, persistent, or unusual, that's your signal to listen more carefully. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What if I'm overreacting? But let me tell you something honestly. It's always better to check and be reassured than to ignore and regret later. There is no downside to being careful with your health, but there can be consequences if you ignore warning signs for too long. Let's simplify everything. You should consider seeing a doctor if something feels unusual, if symptoms are getting worse instead of better, or if they're affecting your daily life in a serious way. Because menopause is a natural phase, but suffering through severe symptoms is not something you have to accept. And here's the most important part of this entire video. You deserve support. You deserve answers. And you deserve to feel safe and confident about your health. So don't ignore your body. Don't silence those signals. And don't wait too long when something doesn't feel right. If this video helped you understand when to take action, don't forget to subscribe to MenoCalm, because this channel is not just about information. It's about helping you feel more in control of your life. And in the comments, tell me honestly, have you ever ignored a symptom and later realized you shouldn't have?